Welcome to another helping of my favorite foods. I'm your chef, Christine Cushing. Come on in. Welcome. Today, I'm picking up the pace with a little alla minute pasta that features all my favorite flavors. And we may or may not be choking a priest. Get ready for pasta with spicy sausage and rapini. Andiamo. Fasten your seatbelts, bring your tray tables up and your chairs forward. We're taking off. Step one is the sausage. So I've got a beautiful Italian spicy sausage here. I like to go to an Italian butcher specialty store because they have great quality. They go through a lot. I'm just taking the casing off. This is a fresh sausage and I'm heating my pan. And now the sausage goes in crumbled. And this crumbling bit is very important because you want to keep some moisture in the sausage. You don't want to break it down fully so that it dries out. So this phase here is going to be about 2 or 3 minutes. And I just want to make sure I get a nice even browning on the sausage. Keeping my eye on the sausage. I said alla minute, so it's going to be a little bit of a tightrope here. Whatever's happening, I'm going to react to. Now, once I have a little bit of color on the sausage, I'm just going to turn down the heat. Crazy how good just sausage browning in the pan smells. Hello. The shallot going in. So while that sausage and the shallot are kind of getting to know one another, let's talk pasta. This pasta is called strozzapreti. Let me show you what they look like. But there's a million stories about how it got its name. So first of all, some people say it's just like a priest's collar, which to me, it doesn't look like a priest's collar, but they could have just called it a priest's collar. Other people say that in that region, the priests would often come to people's houses for Sunday after church and eat so much of this that they would choke on it. That sounds a little bit harsh. Or others said that in lieu of taxes, people would pay the church in pasta. They would come over and again, they would become sort of unwelcome guests. If anybody knows, I'm asking for the real story, so I really want to know which of these stories is true. By the way, you don't have to go with the priest chokers, although I love them. Penne, cavatelli, I mean any short pasta that's got a nice little orecchiette, something that's going to hold the sauce, perfectly great, or whatever you want to use. Once that shallot is a bit golden, now I'm going to add the garlic, and I'm turning the heat right down. Just to insulate the pan a bit, because I said that I'm going to sort of manage what's happening, I'm also adding a little red pepper, because pepper and sausage is a classic combination. So I'm going to put that in just to cool down the pan a little bit. Are you already deciding which wine you're going to serve with this pasta when you make it? So we talked about alla minute, the pace. I've got my pot on the back burner coming to a boil. Here's what I wanted you to accomplish with this, because something about cooking this way, you really get maximum flavor. I'm going to turn this completely off now because I can smell my garlic is getting a little bit caramelized. That's perfect. This is the place where you can stop this sauce until you're ready to put your pasta in. So back to the sausage. The peppers have softened a little bit. It smells heavenly at this point. So incredible. A little deglazing the pan now. Good smells coming from here, let me tell you. Next thing to go in is just a little bit of tomato. This sauce is not tomato prominent, so it's not like a big thick tomato sauce, but it does have tomato in it. Are you smelling it? I'm going in with a little bit of salt, but not too much, because that sausage will already have imparted some salt. Depending on how spicy the sausage is, you can go with extra chili or not. I'm going to go in with a little bit. What do you think? Yes, I like that extra little bit of zing to this, but not crazy. We don't want it to be insanely spicy. Now, I talked about my favorite flavors. Rapini. Wait a minute, before you start getting all squiggly, let's talk rapini, because rapini is incredible. Yes, it is a bitter green, but it's not forwardly bitter if you cook it properly. And it's the perfect combination of flavors to add to this particular pasta. Once you've put your pasta in, the exit route is planned for you. So you got to keep it going, right? So if you want to just continue with your sauce and then stop it and then put your pasta in, you can certainly do that. So I've washed it thoroughly, and what I'm going to do is just cut it into basically thirds so the stems aren't so big. Like that. And that's about the amount that I'm going to add to this pasta. But here's the thing. Many people have different ways of cooking rapini, and sometimes it's overcooked, like it's cooked down until it's brown and it's thoroughly kind of blended into the sauce. For me, you should always blanch rapini. That's the secret. You take this, blanch it in water, and then add it to the sauce. But hang on a second. I've already got a pot of water boiling with the pasta back there. So I've got a little trick for you that's really going to make this super simple. Remember I said you set a timer. So my pasta says 10 to 12 minutes. I set an 11-minute timer, and at that point I'm going to actually put the rapini right into the water, right? You don't need a second pot. It's spectacular. Sausage spiciness, a little bit of fennel that's in the sausage, the peppers. It is so, so great. With any of these a la minute dishes, so basically sauce is cooking, pasta is cooking, and we just bring the two together, I like to get all the garnish ready. And here, parsley for me is king. Parsley is so underrated, don't you think? Let me know in the comments if you think parsley's underrated. I love parsley. If my pan is getting a little dry, this is that tightrope I was talking about, what I can do is just add a little of the pasta water to the pan. Now the pasta water is playing multiple roles here. It's also going to help to thicken the sauce, the starch from the pasta. Oh. What wine did we say we're having with this? All right, I just heard my 1-minute warning. So now I have a question. I have to answer a question. Is this pasta at the right stage that I can add my rapini? I want to do a check. Okay, that's completely raw in the center. So I'm going to amend my timing. They lied on the package. While I wait for the strozzapreti, I mean priest choker, who came up with that? It's a bit harsh, don't you think? Oh, yeah. That's right on the money in terms of spice. Really nice. Now, let's go back to rapini. This combination, a little bit of acidity, some spice with some bitter notes, is like the perfect harmony together. I'm just at the 14-minute cooking mark, and the rapini is going to go in for 2 minutes. Now everything comes together. Never straining this over the sink. You just want to add the whole thing right to here. Last phase, just adding a little bit more of the cooking water. Not too much because now the rapini's been in there, so you get that flavor a lot. I'm going to go in with a little more olive oil here, just to kind of blend it all together, and let it just simmer for another minute so it really absorbs the sauce. That's the key. Do you see what I'm talking about here? So in that minute, in that gentle simmer, all those flavors get absorbed by the pasta. And look at how everything keeps its texture. You see the rapini is green, looks still bright, fresh, but it's fully cooked. It's not going to be crunchy, but it's not going to be a big mosciata. Okay, a little bit of the parsley going in. And you really have sort of a window of 2 to 5 minutes to sit down and enjoy this, because even in that time, it's going to absorb that moisture and get a little bit thicker. So I always err on slightly thinner sauce. Look at that. Last bit, we're going in with some fresh Parmigiano Reggiano, because we are in Emilia-Romagna, the king of cheeses. I mean, the king. Look at that. It's truly a spectacular cheese. It's a problem if you feel like you can eat this whole pan. That's a problem. Look at it. Come on. Picking up table for two. Strozzapreti, spicy Italian sausage, peppers, rapini, mamma mia. Okay, it's ready. It's ready to taste. Look at this. Holy cow. Holy priest chokers, that is good. The combination here is perfection. So the peppers, the rapini, the sausage, a little spice, a little sweet, a little bitter, the beautiful olive oil and that Parmigiano on top, like it's the perfect marriage of all those flavors. Like I promised you at the beginning. Thank you for joining me for another helping of my favorite foods. Share, like, subscribe. Let me know what's happening in your kitchen. Ciao.